What if your worst moment is your greatest gift? The idea sounds paradoxical, even absurd, when you're in the grip of pain, failure, or despair. A broken relationship, a crushing loss, a public humiliation, these are the moments that feel like the end, not the beginning of something transformative. Yet, the ancient Stoics, whose philosophy has endured for over 2 millennia, would argue that these very obstacles are the raw material for growth, resilience, and power. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is not a call to avoid pain but to embrace it, to aim straight through the fire and forge something unbreakable in its flames. Stoicism, at its core, is a philosophy of action in the face of adversity. It does not promise a life free of suffering; such a life is impossible. Instead, it offers a framework for transforming suffering into strength, for seeing obstacles not as barriers but as opportunities. The Stoics believed that the external world is indifferent, often chaotic, and beyond our control. What we can control, however, is our response, our thoughts, our actions, our character. Pain, in this view, is not an enemy to be feared but a teacher to be heeded. By reframing our relationship with adversity, we can turn our worst moments into our greatest gifts. The rule, the obstacle becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius' maxim, the impediment to action, Angora's axiom, "What stands in the way becomes the way," is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. It encapsulates the idea that obstacles are not merely problems to be overcome but pathways to virtue and growth. The Stoics saw life as a training ground for the soul, where every challenge is an opportunity to practice courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice, the 4 cardinal virtues. When we encounter pain or difficulty, we are given a chance to exercise these virtues, to refine our character, and to align ourselves with reason and nature. Consider the life of Marcus Aurelius himself. As Emperor of Rome, he faced endless challenges, a devastating plague, constant wars, political intrigue, and personal betrayals. Yet, in his private writings, known today as Meditations, we find not complaints but reflections on how to endure and grow through hardship. He reminds himself to focus only on what is within his control, his judgments, his intentions, his actions, and to accept the rest with equanimity. For Marcus, every obstacle was a chance to practice patience, forgiveness, and self-discipline. This principle is not abstract philosophy but a practical guide for living. Take the example of a modern figure like Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for 27 years under brutal conditions, Mandela could have succumbed to bitterness or despair. Instead, he used his confinement as an opportunity to cultivate inner strength, to study, to reflect, and to prepare for the leadership role he would later assume. His pain became his power, transforming him into a symbol of reconciliation and hope. Mandela's life echoes the Stoic insight that what stands in the way, oppression, injustice, suffering, can become the way to a higher purpose. The lesson: don't avoid pain. Use it. The Stoic approach to pain is radical: don't avoid it, don't numb it, don't wish it away. Instead, lean into it. Aim straight through the fire. This does not mean seeking suffering for its own sake. Stoics were not masochists, but recognizing that pain is an inevitable part of life and a powerful catalyst for growth. By confronting our difficulties head-on, we develop resilience, clarity, and purpose. One practical Stoic technique for turning pain into power is the premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. This involves visualizing potential setbacks, failure, loss, rejection, before they happen, Not to dwell on negativity but to prepare the mind to face them with composure. By imagining the worst, we strip fear of its power and train ourselves to respond rationally. For example, an athlete might visualize losing a crucial game, not to psych themselves out but to mentally rehearse staying calm and focused under pressure. This practice builds what the Stoics called apatheia, a state of emotional resilience where we are undisturbed by external events. Another Stoic tool is the reframing of obstacles as opportunities. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that every situation, no matter how dire, contains a chance to practice virtue. If someone insults you, it's a chance to practice patience. If you lose your job, it's a chance to practice resourcefulness. If you face illness, it's a chance to practice gratitude for the time you have. This reframing shifts the focus from victimhood to agency, from "why is this happening to me?" to "how can I use this to become better?" Pain also teaches us perspective. The Stoics emphasized the impermanence of all things, wealth, health, even life itself. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have all the fears of mortals and all the desires of immortals." By confronting pain, we are reminded of our mortality and forced to clarify what truly matters. A serious illness, for instance, might strip away trivial concerns and reveal the importance of relationships, purpose, or inner peace. In this way, pain acts as a refiner's fire, burning away what is superficial and leaving behind what is essential. Turning pain into power in practice. To make this philosophy actionable, consider a common modern challenge: rejection. Imagine applying for a dream job and receiving a curt rejection email. The initial sting is unavoidable: disappointment, self-doubt, perhaps anger. A non-Stoic response might be to wallow in these emotions, to avoid future risks, or to lash out. A Stoic, however, would pause and apply the following steps. 1. Accept the reality. The rejection happened. Denying it or wishing it away changes nothing. As Epictetus said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. 2. Reframe the obstacle. This rejection is not a verdict on your worth but an opportunity to practice resilience. It's a chance to seek feedback, refine your skills, or explore new paths. What stands in the way, the no, becomes the way, a push toward growth. 3. Focus on what you control. You can't control the employer's decision, but you can control your response. Update your resume, network, or take a course to improve your qualifications. Action transforms pain into progress. 4. Practice gratitude. Even in rejection, there is something to be thankful for. Perhaps the clarity it brings about your goals or the chance to build character. Seneca advised, there is nothing so wretched or foolish as to anticipate misfortunes. What madness it is to be expecting evil before it comes. By applying these principles, the pain of rejection becomes a stepping stone to greater competence and confidence. Over time, repeated application of this mindset makes obstacles less daunting and pain less paralyzing. The alchemy of adversity. The Stoic idea that the obstacle is the way is a form of psychological alchemy, turning the lead of suffering into the gold of wisdom and strength. This transformation is not instantaneous, it requires practice, reflection, and persistence. But with each obstacle faced, we build what the Stoics called the inner citadel, an unshakable core of character that no external event can breach. This philosophy resonates today because pain is universal, whether it's the sting of personal failure, the grief of loss, or the weight of societal challenges. In a world that often encourages avoidance, through distraction, consumption, or denial. Stoicism offers a countercultural message: don't run from the fire. Walk through it. The heat will burn away your fears and forge you into something stronger. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist. In the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps, Frankl found meaning by focusing on what he could control: his attitude, his purpose, and his ability to help others. His suffering became the foundation for his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, which has inspired millions. Frankl's life embodies the Stoic truth that even the worst moments can be transformed into sources of profound power. Conclusion: your worst moment as your greatest gift. What if your worst moment is your greatest gift? The Stoics would say it is, if you choose to make it so. Pain is not something to be feared or fled, but a raw material to be shaped. By embracing Marcus Aurelius' rule, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, and following the lesson to aim straight through the fire, we can turn adversity into opportunity, suffering into strength. The path is not easy. It demands courage to face pain, discipline to reframe obstacles, and humility to accept what we cannot change. But with each step, we grow closer to the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature, resilient, purposeful, and free. So the next time you face an obstacle, pause. Don't avoid it. Don't curse it. Use it. Let it be the way to a stronger, wiser, more powerful you.
I just want to take a moment to say a massive thank you for watching my video on The Obstacle is the Way, Turning Pain into Power. Your support means the world to me. I poured my heart into sharing this Stoic-inspired journey about transforming adversity into strength, and I'm so grateful for every view, like, comment, and share. It's incredible to see how this message resonates with so many of you, and your engagement keeps me motivated to create more content like this. Let me know in the comments how you've turned your own obstacles into opportunities. I'd love to hear your stories. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's keep walking through the fire together. You're the best.